Alright, so hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we will be building this QR code generator using HTML, CSS and vanilla JavaScript. Let's see how this works first and we will move to the coding part. You type a random name here. For example, I will type Manish something @gmail.com and type a random number as well. And if you click on generate QR button, you can see a loading appeared and this QR image appeared. Click here again. The process continues. Type a random name here, code genesis, and you can see it is perfectly working. Now if you want to check whether this QR code is valid or not, you can install a like QR code scanner in your mobile devices and scan it through there, and you will see these exact data in your mobile phone as well. So let's move into the coding part. Alright, I'm in my code editor right now, and here you can see three files: index.html, index.css, where there are few global CSS which I have already written, and a index.js file. Now let's start with opening our website with live server to check if it's working or not. Type a random thing here. Okay, it is perfectly working. All the fonts are also being applied. Now first create a form here, and in the form create a input text, and we don't have to give any name to it, just give it a class name of user underscore name and a placeholder of enter your name. Let's do the same for email and phone number. User, phone, all of these will bear a same class named input, and here let's change it to email and let's change it to phone. Let's create a button as well with a class name generate QR code button. Okay, sorry, let's see what it looks like. So it looks like this without CSS. Let's create another field named QR canvas, where we'll be displaying our QR code based on these data. It will have a s2 tag of QR code, your QR code, and image tag which will be our QR image. Okay, QR code image. Let's give it a class name of QR image. Okay, it's looking like this. Now let's style from our CSS file. Our HTML part is almost done. We will be implementing the loading logic soon, but before that let's style the entire page. In the body I will give it a background color of black and a universal color of white. Let's give it display flex, justify content center, and align items center. It didn't appear on the center of the screen because I haven't specified the height and width. Let's do it 100 VH, width will be 100 VW. Okay, it is in the screen. Now let's style this form section first. Height of the form is going to be 20 rem. Let's give it a background color of dark. Yep, height will be a little more, 23 rem, and the width will be 18 rem. It is a little less, 21 rem. Let's give it a border radius of 1 rem, display flex, so that we can use the flex properties. Flex direction will be column, so column. Okay, it's working. Now let's as you can see, everything is working. Let's give it the s2 tag here as well, named QR code generator. Okay, let's give a padding here. In top and bottom it will be 2 rem, and left and right it will be 1 rem. Now let's style the input fields as well. Height will be 2.5 rem. Our width is going to be fully 100%. It will be a background color of a little less darker, I suppose. Okay, let's do border none, outline also none, a border radius of 0.6 rem. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Now let's add some more styles. Font size will be 1 rem, and padding will be, padding right and left will be almost 1 rem. Padding left will be 0.7 rem. Instead of rem you can use px pixels also. It's not mandatory to use rem, but it's considered good practice, that's all. Let's give the gap also. Gap is going to be of 1 rem. Okay, now it's looking pretty good. Let's style the button as well. Our generate QR code button, it will also bear the same properties as this. We don't need this. The background color, only the background color will be changed. So background color will be our blue color. Okay, it's looking pretty good, right? Now let's give it a color of white, and also let's decrease the border radius as well. 0.5 rem is good. Yeah, it's good. Let's do cursor pointer. Let's give you a color of white. Yep, and a font weight of 600. And if a user hovers over our button, then the background color, here she should see the change. The background color is going to be blue hover. Yeah, it's perfect. Our form is looking just fine. Now let's style the canvas also. .qr-canvas. Its height will be almost 15 rem. Width will also be 15 rem. Background color will be white, and let's do flex direction column. Let's do display flex, and let's see what it looks like. Okay, we need a border radius of 1 rem and a color of black. Oh sorry, it's color of black, not white. Oh my god, my mistake. And let's do justify content center. Oops, sorry, align items center. Yeah, and padding is going to be of 1 rem. Yeah, now it's looking perfectly fine. Now instead of this QR code image, we need the actual image of the QR code. But first let's give a gap of 2 rem here. Okay, everything is looking good. Now we need to implement one last thing in our HTML, that is a loader. This loader will be our loading button. Now we have to style it as well. It will have a height of 3 rem, a width of 3 rem, border radius will be 50%, and it will have a border of 6 pixels solid blue color. See, it appeared right. Now let's give border top color, it is going to be white. Okay, now let's implement the animation as well. It will be spin. 1 second, infinite. All right, now for the animation to work, we need to do this. Now at 0%, initially at 0%, it will rotate at 0 degree. That means it will not rotate, and in 100% it will rotate 360 degree. Now let's see it is working just fine. Let's give a position of relative, so it will appear on the center of the screen. Position of relative in the QR canvas, and position of absolute in our loader. It looks like this. Now from top it will be 50%, from left also it will be 50%. Let's transform it to translate -50%, -50%. So these 4 lines of code puts our loader in the center of the QR code. Okay, so it didn't work. We see we have a problem over here. Let's do important tag over here. It is not working. Oh, so we don't need this because we don't want 2 properties, one transform property here and one transform property here. Due to the overlapping of those two, our loading just messed up. So from top it will be 40%, and from left also it will be 14%. Now you can see it is perfectly appearing on the center of the screen. Give it a gap of 1 rem. Okay, let's implement the logic of when user clicks on generate QR code button, then a QR image will appear. So for doing that, let's go to our JavaScript first and select each and every single elements from here. Now I will be splitting screen so that it will be easier for you to understand. We'll be implementing these first. So username is going to be and it will be same for all the fields, email, phone number as well. User number, and also let's implement button as well. Generate button. You can give any class or variable name you want. Okay, let's implement the loader as well. For the loading effect, loader, and let's implement this image as well, because this is where we will set the attribute, source attribute. So QR, its name is going to be QR image. Document.query selector QR image. Yep, we selected everything. Now we need to implement the JavaScript logic. Okay, let's see. For implementing the QR code image, you need to go to your browser and go here to type QR code API and go to the first link and copy this, come to your JavaScript file and make a variable name source. Image source is going to be this. All right, now when user clicks on generate button, we want this to happen, right? So generate button on click, or you can also do add event listener click, it doesn't matter, both are same. Okay, let's just console.log image source if it's working or not. Now when user clicks here, you can see this is printing, it's printing on console, right? Now first let's make the loading disappear from the screen by display none, because we initially we don't want to show loading. Now come to your JavaScript. Okay, so this is a server action because we are fetching the data from the server, so this function is going to be asynchronous. Now you might ask, is it mandatory for us to do async await or use promises for server methods or fetching data from the server? Yes, actually it's mandatory, because if you don't do so, then it will affect your whole program execution. I will show you. So our image source is this. Now first we want the value from every input field. So user name value is user underscore email, sorry, name dot value, user name dot value, and it will be same for our email and phone number as well. Now you can increase as much input fields as you want, depends upon what you are building. Email. Okay, now we get all the values of this input field. Now let's put all of these values in another single variable. So let's make a variable here. Let all values equals, you have to use backticks so that you can use the variables. You declare it inside $sign. Okay, so you can do like this. Now this all values contains every single value of your input field. If you do console.log all values, then come here, type a random name. For example, I am going to type a random name, type a random email, and type a random phone number. And if you click here, you can see we are getting every data, right? Okay. Refresh this, come to your browser. Now we want to, when user clicks there, we want to put all of these values to here, because this will fetch the data, this will fetch the image data QR code, and this will fetch the QR code image based on your values, right? So for doing that also we need to do something, because if user name value is equal username value dot length is equals to 0, or username email value and user phone value is equals to 0, then we need to allot a menu on the screen saying that enter valid credentials. Let's say this, else we want to do all of this. Okay, we want to do all of this. Now let's first fetch the data. Let data equals to await. Now before fetch method we need to do await image source, and this will return a promise. Let's resolve that promise. Let response equals await data dot JSON. Now you might ask me, what is this JSON? JSON is a data type, you can basically say. It is like object but in a string. But here in our program we cannot use JSON, because the data that we are getting is not in the form of JSON, it is in the form of blob. Blob is known as binary large object which contains containing images or your audio or other files. So our QR code image is a image, our QR code is a image, so we cannot do JSON, we have to do blob. Now let's set the source image source to this response and see what we get. So QR image dot src source is going to be response. Now we are obviously going to get an error. I will explain you why. Type a name, type a email, type a phone number, and click here. As you can see, it says 404 not found, because we are doing it in a wrong way. This response is in the form, the data type is in the form of object, and we cannot pass a object into the source of the QR image. This QR image, the source of the QR image expects a URL, and we are passing a object here, because blob is also a binary large object. So to convert that object into a URL, we have a method named let URL equals URL dot create object URL response. As the name suggests, it creates the URL from object. Now if you pass URL here, it will work perfectly fine. And first let's remove this alt, type a name, type a email, and type a phone number, and click on generate QR code. As you can see, our QR code is successfully being generated. Now we want a loading to be seen before the QR comes into the screen. So for doing that, before our else statement, I mean if else statement, you can specify loader dot style dot display equals to block. Now if you type a name, email, or phone number and click here, you can see loading appears, but it is appearing continuously. So to fix that, after the image is loaded, we want it to be display none. So to do that, come here and do none. Now if you try to do generate QR code, it says enter valid credentials and type something and click here. You can see loading appeared and disappeared. Now if you try to do it again, it appears again. Look, the loading is appearing again, right? Loading is appearing in front of the QR image. Now to fix this, you can do one thing. You can set the source of the image to a empty string initially. Now try to enter a name, for example code Genesis, something @gmail.com, and type name. Click here, you can see a loading. Click again and you can see a loading, and then we receive a QR image. So this is how we can create a QR code generator using JavaScript. Thank you for watching.